Welcome to podcasts recorded live at the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland, Oregon. We have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its video podcasts, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.
Good morning and welcome to the Portland Center for Spiritual Living. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. All we ask is that you stay open to the possibility of changing your entire life simply by changing your mind. My name is Nancy Ashley, licensed practitioner here, and I welcome you. And a big round of applause and thanks to our Friends Band for their introduction here. Thank you. Welcome especially to our Facebook Live friends that are joining us today. We're always on at 11 o'clock here. I'm going to share some announcements with you, and some of them you're probably pretty familiar with. Wednesday evening is our meditation program, 7 o'clock on Zoom, and the theme this week is Creating the New Now. And this is going to be led by licensed practitioner Sylvia Kearns. We also have Friday lunch with Reverend Larry, scheduled every Friday at 11:30 a.m. on Zoom. And of course, the Zoom links are either on the email that you get on Tuesday or on our website, cslportland.org. So you can find everything you need there. We also have online Zoom groups for both the Social Justice Book Club and our 12-step program for women. Reverend Larry is going to tell us about some classes that are coming up for this summer.
Welcome, everyone. So glad you're tuning in today. Yes, we have some great summer classes planned for you. The first one is one of the new accredited classes with CSL called Essential Earnest Homes. It's facilitated by Reverend Marilyn Sprague. It's a 10-week class, Tuesdays starting July 13th. This online CSL class featured Ernest Holmes' quiet devotional readings as well as his impassioned teachings for future leaders. His love of people and facility for seeing past problems blends modern psychology with our ability to make conscious mental choices for an improved life. We're also going to be teaching more on Emma Curtis Hopkins. That's facilitated by Kate Barrett and Reverend Marilyn. It's an 8-week class on Thursdays starting July 22nd. Emma Curtis Hopkins, as you know, is often called the teacher of teachers in the New Thought movement. And through readings, discussion, and experiential exercise, this online spiritual study course features lessons 7 through 12 of her Lessons in Truth. So you'll definitely want to decide how you want to spend your summer with us. They're both great classes, and you can register for them online at cslportland.org.
Thank you, Reverend Larry. I love the Essential Ernest Holmes book. It's so much easier to read than all of the others put together. So join us then. Reverend Marilyn will be continuing her Mirific Mondays, including tomorrow at 4:30 p.m., and it's part of our Go for Joy virtual ministry designed by Reverend Marilyn, who happens to be a certified laughter coach. Yes, I never heard of one before. She's the only one I've ever known is a certified laughter coach. So this is the use of therapeutic laughter, and you can register for this complimentary program online, and she will send you the link for it. So I'm going to read this part because it's very important. All of you have been asking, when are we reopening? We've been planning for some time now, and we now have a date of June 13th. That's 3 weeks from now. Yes, we'll be organizing the sanctuary to make things as safe as we can. Yes, the in-person opening will be designed for fully vaccinated people. Fully vaccinated people, as permitted by the Oregon Health Authority. And yes, we'll continue to have our Facebook Live broadcasts also for people who would prefer to stay at home or who live remotely. We'll be sending more information out in the email, and we'll soon update our website with all of the pertinent details. So this is very exciting. We're going to be back in person. You haven't seen the sanctuary here for the last 14 months, and it looks very different today, but it's going to be back to accommodating a congregation again. So yay, team. If you are not yet on our mailing list, we really encourage you to get that, because the email that Reverend Larry sends out on Tuesday afternoon includes everything you need to know for the week. It has all the programs, all the Zoom links, everything you want to know, his talk, who the musician is, everything. And you can sign up for that on our website, cslportland.org. On the bottom right-hand side of the front page, your name and email, and then you'll start getting this fabulous email that tells us everything. So again, our floral arrangement is by Kat Jacobs, as it is every week. Thank you so much, Kat. And our special music today is Ken Brewer. Well, how nice. Okay. Ken is here with us every week, and today he'll be doing something special. Our alternate special music is with Paulette Hawley, who's filling in for LaRonda Steele this week. And so welcome to Paulette also, and thank you, Ken. So sit back and relax, because we know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, and the message is exactly what your heart came to receive.
God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. Right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. God is, I am. Right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am.
So just breathing into this moment, right here, right now, we know that there is only one essence in the universe, that power that I call God or spirit, divine intelligence. There is only one. It is the source of all that is. It is that wisdom and harmony, unity, and most of all, it is life and love. These are the essences that are everywhere present in the universe. And I know that for each of us, that love and life are the basis of our living. And so knowing that there is only one power, I know that that power is in me, that it is fully present in me as me, and that I am a complete expression of God as God in my life. And as this is true for me, I know it's true for every person, that we are all individualized, unique expressions of that one, that we are imbued with all of the qualities of love and wisdom, peace, harmony, wholeness, unity, beauty. There are so many, and they are all present in us, awaiting our recognition. And so I just claim and affirm for us today that we focus on unity, that unity that all beings everywhere are part of and expressions of that oneness. Every person on every continent, every person in Portland and in all of our communities here, we are all one part of the unity of God. There are no invisible people. There are no people left out. We are all part of that, including all animals, everything is part of that oneness of God. And as we think about unity in our lives, we know that every person that we encounter is an expression of God. Everyone, that we are all together in this, and together we express the fullness of God. And so I just give thanks for knowing this, for knowing that every person that we encounter, every person that we see on TV, or every person in the news is a part of God. And so I just give thanks for knowing this truth, knowing that it is a reality in our lives, and that there are no invisible people. We are all important in the mind of God. And so I just release my word into the action and activity of the law, knowing that it is already done, knowing that the law says yes to everything that we hold true to our hearts, that we believe in faith, knowing all of that. And so I just release this, I let it be. And together we say, and so it is. And as we go into the silence, I just invite us to think about what that means, unity of all beings everywhere.
I am a part of you. You are a part of me. Much more than we can see. Much more than we might know. There is no separation, just a misrepresentation. I am a part of you. You are a part of me. Sometimes I see through you. Sometimes you see right through me. Love is all that matters. Love is really all we have. If we see a separation, it's just a misinterpretation. I am a part of you. You are a part of me. may not always understand you, but I will always want the best for you. The distance between us is really very small. Let there be no separation. This is my affirmation. I am a part of you. You are a part of me. I am a part of you. You are a part of me.
Thank you, Ken. Wonderful to have you up on the stage with me today. I sure appreciate it. And is it all right if I mention that in addition to being a gifted musician and pianist, you also do music lessons? So feel free to log on to our website, cslportland.org. Right on the front page, you'll see that Ken is featured today as our quote guest musician. And if you click on the link there, if you click on his picture, it'll give a little bit of information, a little bio about him, and also how you might contact him if you're interested in music lessons. So welcome today. So glad you're with us. We're using this book of Marilyn Mills' One World, One Heart this month. And what I love about the book is she really alternates chapters between the idea of opening our heart and then some of the ways that we can actually use the various spiritual laws for, I don't know what you want to say, for a more practical approach to spirituality in our lives. So it's been a great journey so far. This week, the theme is unity and inclusion. And I think what's interesting about unity and inclusion is often we try to think of it in terms of equanimity, the idea that everyone is created equal, everyone has an equal chance, everyone should have the equal rights and equal accessibility and so on. She takes a different approach to it. I think it heads us in exactly the same direction, but it is a unique approach and something that I want to talk more about today. I think you might be surprised at how she approaches things. And I think maybe the best place to start is a short reading in the book. So this is from One World, One Heart, Marilyn Mills. She says, throughout our lives, we will be challenged many times to love and forgive others. And often we don't want to do either. Relationships are one of the toughest things we can deal with in our lives. People hurt us. They can take advantage of us and many other things that upset our equilibrium. How can we stay positive around those difficult people, especially when they often bring out the worst in us? Have you ever heard the phrase, well, she presses my button or he presses my button, that idea that you're just kind of waiting to be triggered in some negative way? And I remember it's often said that parents have the ability to reduce their adult children down to age 5 with just a comment or two. Well, these are all illustrations of some of those difficult relationships that we may have. And what she talks about unity, what she talks about inclusion, really is from the grassroots place. It's from that place of the heart where it's not just people in other countries or who look different than you. Oftentimes we exclude people from our lives that are even the very closest to us. And so the first part of what we're going to cover today is the idea that the journey is different than the destination. So often when we're interacting with people, I think it's about the destination. And here I want to cover a brief joke with you, if you don't mind. Hopefully this is one of my better jokes. So during the wedding rehearsal, a groom approaches the pastor with an unusual offer. Look, I'll give you $100 if you'll change the wedding vows. when you get to the part where I'm supposed to say, love, honor, and obey, and be faithful to her forever, I'd appreciate it if you'd just kind of leave out that part. So he passes the minister a $100 bill and walks away. Well, on the day of the wedding, when it comes time for the groom's vows, the pastor looks at the young man in the eye and says, will you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? Do you promise to love, honor, and obey her, and be faithful to her as long as you both shall live? The groom gulps. He looks around and says in a tiny voice, yes, I do, and then leans towards the pastor and whispers, I thought we had a deal. The pastor puts the $100 bill back in his hand. Sorry, I got a better offer. And so that's what I would say is relationships based on the destination. Relationships based on getting what you want out of a relationship. I think we've all worked on projects before where there was a very clear goal in mind, and it was almost people were expendable, or people were, how do I want to say it, less important anyway than the results of whatever was supposed to happen. You know, here at the church, we put on a variety of fundraisers and other activities throughout the year, and every now and then, I just have to stop for a minute and think, now, wait a minute, is this fundraiser more important than the people who are putting it on? Because I got to tell you, with any group of people, there will be times when spirits run high, when differences of opinion, even in a spiritual setting, will get people on the wrong side of each other. There'll be people who will figure that their ideas are not being trusted or whose voices aren't being heard. And of course, we can get that fundraiser done, but was it at the expense of good people that you want to have around for a long time? See, that's the trouble with focusing on the destination, focusing on some end goal, but really, perhaps, not as important as the relationships that you form and nurture and bless along the way. You know, not too long ago, well, actually, I guess maybe it is a while ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we were without someone to help with hospitality. Normally, we have a lovely kind of almost like a breakfast bar going on in the back of the sanctuary with coffee and treats, and the person who had done it for many years just wanted to retire. And, of course, we blessed her and whatever, but gosh, we were having trouble finding someone in that role. And I remember part of our trouble was we were presenting it as the destination, right? We need somebody who can do this. And we described the this. Well, people weren't up for that. They too saw it as a destination. Am I up for doing this? I don't know how I'm going to be supported. I don't know how to pay for the food. It really seemed overwhelming to anyone, because the focus was on the destination. Honestly, rather than assign it to someone, rather than make someone to do it, if you think about it, it makes me even laugh to say, we're going to force someone to do hospitality, right? It's like, that's even a better joke, I think, than the one I told. Let's require someone to be hospitable. And so, of course, we just went for a time without even coffee service. It made total and perfect sense, because it was about nurturing the relationship. It was about finding the perfect person whose heart was open to see it as a sacred service, as a blessing to provide that level of hospitality, right? And it was about nurturing that person. It was about making them feel loved and wanted and useful in the world. It was about nurturing the talent of a person and not the destination of creating food and drink for Sunday. So I'd like to ask you a question. How many times in your life are you so focused on an end goal that sometimes you might walk right over the top of the people who will help you achieve that goal? Now think about some of the projects you've worked on. Maybe you've fixed up your apartment or your house. Maybe you've gone back to school and had to make other arrangements for children or daycare. Maybe you've taken on another job where your partner or your loved ones have kind of been relegated to the back seat. Have you perhaps been guilty of this idea of it's all about the end, it's all about the achieving the goal, it's all about the getting to the finish line, not noticing that the people along the way really are the gift. The people along the way are your life. The goals are going to come and fade and be different and get changed out, right? I think we're on our third or fourth person who does hospitality here at the center since that particular time. Each one of them a true blessing, each one of them truly giving from the heart and providing that service out of love and joy and peace. And so if our focus was always on the end product, would we have built those loving relationships? Would those people still be involved in the center, even though perhaps they're not in charge of hospitality anymore? You see, it's the relationships ultimately that are perhaps more important. Well, there's something else I want to talk about today that I think is equally important, and I hope there's some movie lovers out there, right? I hope some of you are enjoying going to the movies. These days, perhaps more on Netflix than in person, but in any case, what have you noticed about most of the movies these days? Most of the movies these days, I would say, are kind of action-oriented. And in fact, if we were to put them in that idea of destination versus relationship, I think you would discover most of them are destination movies. You know, it's about saving the planet at all costs, or saving, I don't know, your wife or the house, or creating the fabulous new job, or Guardians of the Galaxy out to save the universe, or whatever it might be, very oriented towards an end result of some kind. Okay, so then fast forward through whatever movie you have in mind and watch the credits roll. Have you noticed that one or two featured players, of course, will be on top, the Sylvester Stallones of the world, the Bruce Willises, you name it, the action hero, of course. But pretty rapidly, they zip through the sidekicks, and suddenly you'll see girl number 7 or fireman number 3, right? Guess what those are called? In the acting world, those are called supernumeraries. They're the people that flesh out the story, but don't matter enough to even have names. So what I want to also talk about today is the invisible people in your life. The people that are supernumeraries. See, I think a lot of times we orient our lives in the same way those blockbusters do. We have one or two key people in our lives, usually maybe a partner or a family member. We'll also often have a sidekick, right? The humorous best friend, and oftentimes the sidekick either brings in humor or sometimes brings in trouble, but they are one of the featured players because usually the plot will organize itself around them. So we have the principals, the family, then we have the lovable sidekicks or the hateable sidekicks, but I wonder if then everybody else in our life is just girl number 7. Have we created a life where 90% of the people we come in contact with don't even really have a name? Now, I think this is important because I do think that inclusivity, I do think that making sure that everyone has a voice is giving everyone access at least to enough of our lives where we know a little bit about them, where they're invited in. The talk title today is Everyone at the Table, and I chose that because that's another thing that oftentimes you'll see at movies. The only people that ends up having names in the movie would generally fit around a dining room table, right? We limit our exposure, if you will, to only just a few people. What if I said to you, though, the person who has some answers to really important problems or questions in your life was right in the house next door to you? Do you even know your neighbors well enough that you might be talking over some of your issues or some of your opportunities with them, and they would have the opportunity to give you the idea of a lifetime, to solve some problem that you've been really chewing away at for months and years? Do we know just even our neighbors, even the people that we're co-workers with? Or are we treating them almost as though they were invisible? Well, we're leading up to some homework on my part today. And before we go on, let me talk about the homework. So the homework is pretty simple. It's who are the invisible people in your life, and how can you make them visible? How can you bring them to the table? And there are a couple suggestions in the book that I'll talk about. One is suggestions around people that perhaps we have some difficulty with. That uncle that you just dread having on the telephone, or that coworker that you just wish would stay in their own cubicle. So one of the options, or one of the suggestions in the book around that, is when we start off on an encounter with someone, just to do a silent and affirmative prayer. I know that I am one with this person, and that the communications that I have with them are open and filled with love. This person is part of God, even as I am part of God, and I know that this encounter is going to be equitable and non-judgmental. This person is part of my life. This person is invited to my table. And I know that this telephone conversation is going to be based in peace and love. Do you get the idea? Just to do a quick job of setting yourself up for success with this person. God will answer these prayers. God wishes to see peace and love and joy on the planet. In fact, I think that's why we're here. Sometimes I think the whole reason that God created humanity is to get to experience love on a human scale, to experience peace and joy as we humans do. And so, of course, it's God's very good pleasure to bring about those kinds of successful encounters and conversations. And so let us set up ourselves to be expecting the good if we wish to receive the good. So as you're about to make that difficult phone call, as you're about to have that perhaps in the past awkward encounter with someone, simply say to yourself an affirmation, a prayer, that this is going to be a joyous or peaceful encounter. I know that this person is as part of God as I am part of God. And this interaction is based in love. The other thing, though, that she counsels in the book around this idea of invisibility is simply to take time with everybody. You know, there's an alternative to the action movie. There's an alternative to the movie where 99% of the people don't even get names, right? Is everyone familiar with some of the ensemble kind of movies or TV shows where almost everybody has a story to tell? Recently, Downton Abbey is a good example of that. Or for some of us older people, Star Trek: The Next Generation, another one where, well, yeah, there's Captain Picard, but you really learn about all of the officers, and often an episode of that particular Star Trek series would feature one of the even minor characters, and you'll get to know about them and care about them. That is what she's suggesting in this book that we're reading this month, that you take the time to actually meet and identify and learn about the extra people in your life. Your neighbors, your coworkers, some of the more extended members of your family. Not just to interact with them at Christmas, not just to do the usual "how is your weekend," but actually involve them in some questions. Let your guard down for a little bit of intimacy. I'll use an example of the most trivial sort. In my previous job, I used to do a lot of project management, and I worked for the telephone company, and they would send me out to some of the craziest places out in the Pacific Northwest, and I'd be flying out to Yakima, or I'd be flying down to Phoenix, or I'd be flying up to Seattle, or even British Columbia, working on various computer projects, and it got to be so much travel that literally the people at the airport knew who I was. Well, every weekend when I would come home, I'd get in my car from long-term storage, and often I'd have the same person where I'd pay the parking fee. And I got to tell you, she had the most amazing scowl on her face. Now, I sort of understand this. I mean, picture yourself out in a toll booth in all kinds of nasty weather, right? In a 3x3 little box where all you're doing is processing cash transactions and Visa cards and stuff for probably 8 hours at a stretch. And I got to tell you, is it the usual loving and interesting person that is trying to do a transaction? Oh no, they want it to be done just as fast as they can. So they're not engaged in any kind of conversation. And so here was this poor woman that I saw almost every week with just this face of unhappiness. And I said to myself, I'm going to get to know her. Now you might say, well, how do you get to know someone for like 1 minute every week? But I made that my task, and I started out just by complimenting her. She always had some unusual jewelry, and what I came to find out, I complimented her, she made the jewelry herself. And so that was my hook into her, was simply by actually showing some interest in something that she was interested in. And I got to tell you, after a few months, when my car would come into the line, I could see her smile like half a block away. 3 cars ahead, she would look up and see my red RAV4, and her face would light up, and her face would light up, and my face would light up. And suddenly, just for the investment of 1 minute a week, I had a new friend. Well, that's the second part of your homework this week. I'm asking you to make an investment in some of those invisible people in your life. Whether it's neighbors that maybe you haven't met yet, or coworkers that so far has been limited to just how you doing. I'm asking to step forward and make just a little more of a commitment to your time and energy. Now, why? You might say, why? I only have enough time for the principal players. I am in an action movie, and if we're going to save the universe, I only have time for, the captain of the Enterprise and maybe the first officer or the science officer, and that's it. I'm here to tell you, though, you will get joy from everyone on the ship. There is a story for everyone and about everyone. And if you pay attention, if your ears are open, if your heart is open, it will make all the difference. Then suddenly, it's no longer about the destination, but it's the people that you take along with you. It's about developing the love, being part of the relationship, actively nurturing one another, pitching solutions and ideas towards success. If you only have 2 or 3 people in your life, the chances are you are greatly limiting your ability to love, to live, to be fruitful, to seek abundance. And so that's your complete homework. Again, just to reiterate, 1, who are the invisible people in your life, and how might you go about inviting them to the table? How might you go about turning someone that is just girl number 7 into a friend? Well, I'm going to close today with a bit of homework. We did the homework with a quote and a prayer. So this part of the book ends like this. To be fully alive, we need to be in the flow of life and not on the sidelines. When you run an errand or are out in public, how often do you look at people and smile? Maybe say hello. maybe engage them. We need to give ourselves a push to be open-minded in meeting people and trying new things. What might happen if we did this? Showing an interest in someone is a small gift that may touch him or her in a way that you may never know, but it will always touch and change you. Let us pray. There is one power, one presence, one life. There's only just this one thing, and it is that grand unity of all things. Every person, every place, everything, every situation, everything part of the one. And what I know about this one, what I know about life, is that it is here equally for everyone. There is love for everyone. There is joy for everyone. There is a story for and about everyone. There is this grand life, and everyone is a part of it. And so today, for myself, I claim that no one is invisible, that everyone is welcome to my table, that everyone has that capability of sensing the openness of my heart and the willingness of my invitation to come in, to become a friend instead of a stranger. As it is true for me, I know it is true for everyone, that capability of the open heart, that willingness of the invitation, that interest, that honest interest in other people. And so I claim and affirm for everyone within the hearing of my voice, life is open. Life is willingness, and that each day forward there's a little more willingness to invite more people into our lives, to celebrate the unity that is God itself. And so for this I am grateful. For this I understand the heavens and the earth open in friendship, in unity, in inclusion. I release this prayer into the activity, into the action of the law itself. I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. Thank you so much for being here today. What a joy to have you with us. Now is our time of conscious giving. I invite you to take your gift in your hand, get ready on your tablet or your computer device, and go to cslportland.org/donate. It's our great honor to receive the many gifts that we receive from all of you each week. It's what has kept our virtual ministry alive over this last year and a half. And your gifts really are a blessing not only to us here, but as we are rebroadcast out into the world, so many millions of other people take advantage of this really healing ministry, and I want to thank you. But now, I think it's time for some fabulous more music, yes? All right, let's welcome back Ken Brewer.
You've got to use what you got. You know you've got a lot. The power of the universe is there for you. No one's gonna stop you if you follow through. Keep on keeping on, and love will light the way. You've got to use what you got. If someone tells you you're not good enough, say, I can't hear you. If they tell you you can do it, tell them, yes, I can. Listen to your heart and keep your eyes on the dream. Your happiness is all part of the plan. You got to use what you got. You know you've got a lot. Power of the universe is there for you. No one's gonna stop you if you follow through. Keep on keeping on, and love will light the way. You've got to use what you got. If someone says it can't be done, tell them, yes, it can. If they say you're not the one, tell them, yes, I am. Know that there is no one that is quite like you. No one else can do the things you do. You know there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not just an oncoming train. Life has so much in store for you. Sometimes you just got to move on through the pain, and you've got to use what you got. You know you got a lot. The power of the universe is there for you. No one's gonna stop you if you follow through. Keep on keeping on and love will light the way. You've got to use what you got. You're gonna do what you were meant to do. No one can take that away from you. Open your eyes, the world is all brand new. You've got to use what you got.
Well, we get to have you with us every Sunday, but what a lovely treat to have you the special music today. So I think I want to cover just a couple quick announcements before we close today. Nancy mentioned that we're opening the sanctuary for in-person visits again, starting on June 13th, 16th? Gosh, I've already forgotten when it is. 13th, I think, yes. But I also want to mention, especially to you folks online, we are absolutely committed to continuing our broadcasts, to our YouTube channel, to our audio podcast. So for those of you who are not located in the Portland area, no, we're not changing our lovely relationship that we have online. We truly have treasured bringing many new members and more people to the Center for Spiritual Living here in Portland, Oregon, through this pandemic, through our ability to be online, on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course our audio podcast. We're not changing any of that. And so you may hear us chattering and excited about having people coming in through the sanctuary doors again. I hope that on June 13th, you will feel equally excited about our reopening. I think we have some special plans for our online guests, as well as the guests that will be coming here in person. So stay tuned for that. There will be more information in our weekly email and our website as we begin fleshing out some of the more plans for that day. I do know, however, one special feature of that day, we're recently graduating some new practitioners in our midst. And one of the things we're going to do that day is a presentation of our new practitioners. And so you'll get to meet a couple new practitioners as well as the practitioners that are already on staff here. They're helpful for your prayer support and other things, both to our online and physical audience. So definitely mark your calendars, June 13th. It will definitely be a day that you won't want to miss, whether you choose to come in person or whether you stay online. Either is welcome. Okay, I think it's time to close today, and I'm sure that we have some lovely songs. Would you like to come up, Paulette, and lead us in a closing song? Thank you.
I am love, I am loving, I am love. I am love, I am loving, I am love. It's the truth of who I am when I forget. Spirit reminds me again. I am love,
If you happen to be in the Portland, Oregon area, we'd love to have you visit in person. The Portland Center for Spiritual Living is located at 6211 Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. We have inspirational services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. every Sunday. We also have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. We have a variety of content dedicated specifically for our online listeners. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Our website is also the place to learn more about what's going on at the center or to contact us. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.